Well, I just have to clear something up with the listeners. So it's a children's book, and I just want people to understand. Jason, you wrote the book. You didn't actually take it from a child, right?
Welcome to Books in Hindsight, the only podcast where hindsight is always 2020. And we explore the great books, works, and ideas of the century. Now, here's your host, teacher, and author, Matthew Hines.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a very special Books in Hindsight. Today we have Bigfoot Hunter and children's author Jason Kenzie. Jason's coming to us from Canada, So it's going to be a great podcast. We're going to have a lot of fun, and we're going to tell a lot of jokes about being Canadian. So you don't want to miss any of it. Coming up next on Books in Hindsight. Hello, everybody. And what you have just been watching is the trailer to Jason Kenzie's latest exciting documentary made up in the Great White North. And we're going to be talking about that with Jason today. And before we get into actually our conversation with Jason, I want to make a few announcements. We have had some house cleaning stuff going on at Encounters USA. Got a brand new, fresh new logo. And as you can see, I've got a Squatch Tours t-shirt on. I've just been out to visit Sasquatch the Legend in Forks, Washington. You might want to check out that video. And as we get the Squatch Tours going, people like Jason are going to be doing narrations for our tour. So as you're doing the tour, Jason will be telling you about a Sasquatch encounter. So it's going to be exciting. And you're going to be able to purchase a lot of Jason's documentaries and his merchandise as well. So everything is going to be fantastic. So let's bring out Jason Kenzie. Jason, welcome to Encounters USA.
Hey, how's it going there, Matthew? Hello,
Well,
hello.
it is going great. I don't know when our last meeting was, but I think it's been about a little over a year, and I know you have had an exciting summer. So we've got a few things to talk about. We've just watched your trailer to your I want to say Squatchumentary. I don't know. I'll say documentary. I don't know if I can apply that to other people's stuff. But we just watched your trailer. It's fantastic. It's really exciting. And you've got this song out. You've got a book out. So you have been very busy. And then you were out looking for Sasquatch and filming this latest documentary. So let's get into it, Jason. I'm just going to let you start. What do you want to talk about first?
Well, I have a children's book, which is going to be coming out very shortly. It's called Adventures of Little JJ, Rescued at Cryptid Island. And it's about a little 6-year-old boy who uses his imagination to help a female Sasquatch girl get back to her parents. And he's helped by a little ghost, the ghost boy, moth boy, and the Loch Ness monster. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's good for, all ages. Definitely people in the ages of 85 to 120, they will love the book. You could say that they could take it to their grave, for sure. But yeah, it's good for all ages, and it's supposed to teach kids to basically be a team. If you can work together, you can accomplish anything.
Fantastic.
And, yeah, that's going to launch very soon.
Well, I just have to clear something up with the listeners. So it's a children's book, and I just want people to understand. Jason, you wrote the book. You didn't actually take it from a child, right?
No, I definitely took it from a child. He was
You
just
did?
on the
Okay. Well,
sidewalk. I walked up and here you go.
Yeah.
Give me
Well,
that book. Yeah,
okay.
I
And
wrote it.
and you put it up for sale too. So, that you
Yep.
Canadians, I really have to hand it to you. You've got some interesting customs up there. All
For
right.
sure,
So,
for sure. We don't take candy from children. We take books. That's the Canadian way.
right. The only candy you're going to take is the candy stripe from the free medical services you're provided
Yeah,
in
yeah,
Canada, right? When you go to the
yeah, exactly.
clinic. Okay. All right. So, tell me a little bit because I'm going to put this on not only Encounters USA, because you're an author, you get to go on to Books in Hindsight as well. So I want to ask you a little bit about your publishing process. So right now you're in the writing, you're in writing mode, or you're finished with that.
No, I'm actually working on book 4 because
Holy cow. Okay.
I have children's books out, and they're all called Adventures of Little JJ. And
Holy cow.
basically, he uses the imagination to meet new animal friends.
Yep.
And then he goes on these adventures. And so I decided to do one with Sasquatch and some of the other cryptids, only because I've been getting into the cryptid world, with
Yep.
the Sasquatch. I thought, well, I'll make a children's book that has to do with cryptids. But the first 2 children's books are him with different animals, and he
All right.
goes on
So
a
now,
quest. And so I'm working on book 4, and
okay.
book 4 is Adventures of Little JJ meets the She Squatchers. Yep.
Well, that's okay. So I think now it's slowly coming back that when we had done an interview before, I had said, because my wife is into this, she seems to be like understand what animals think and say. And I say, yeah, yeah, you should work with my wife on that project. So book 4. And so your books are available on Amazon, or where can we get those?
Amazon, Barnes and Noble,
Okay.
Walmart.com. They're
Okay.
all over the place online.
Okay. And
If
what's
you punch in
the
Jason Kenzie's,
Jason Kenzie?
second, yeah,
Go ahead and
Jason
say that again.
Kenzie's, yeah, if you punch in Jason Kenzie's Adventures of Little JJ, you'll be able to find the books for sure.
Okay. Adventures of Little JJ. Okay, well, that's very interesting. And that is a side of you that when I'm thinking of you, I'm thinking of you out running around in the Northwest in the rain looking for Bigfoot. So that is a side of you that is very interesting. Um, what motivates you to write children's books?
Well, I think it's very important that children learn different aspects as they grow, and I want children to know that animals can be your friends, and not to be scared of some of the animals. I mean, of course, if you see a bear, a cougar, a moose, any of these kind of animals, yes, you want to back off. You don't want to run up and start petting it. It's a great way to lose your hand. But it's great to, teach them that animals can be your friends and not to be scared of them.
Okay. And how long have you been writing? How many? I mean, you've written 4 books, so must have been doing it for
Yep.
some time.
It's taken me a year
To
and
do
a half.
4 books?
No, 3 books.
Yeah.
I'm just starting to work on the 4th one. So
Wow.
the first one I'm just starting. I write it out, and then I draw up these really, really terrible sketches, and then I send them to an artist, and then they draw up the sketches and the final bit. But yeah, I do all the writing, and I have an editor, and she looks at it and makes my grammar look good.
Okay. So yeah, because Canadian, grammar is a little bit different. I'm sure you got to clean it up for the American audience.
Definitely.
So all right. So you're what's the minimum age that this book is going to relate to, or these books?
3 years old. So
3 years old.
3 to 8. Yep, three to
Wow.
eight.
Wow.
Because the
Okay.
pictures are very colorful. That was very important. Just to let you know, I have written a lot of poetry, over
Mhm.
5,000 poems
Wow.
in the last 9 years. And
Yeah.
I've published probably about over 100 poems.
Are
So
we talking like these men?
writing,
Are we talking about the guy from Nantucket kind of poems, or?
no,
Ah,
no,
okay.
my poems are very positive, and it's
Okay.
about what love should feel like, and very
Wow.
positive poems. A lot of times people write a lot of kind of negative poetry, but I don't want to say negative, but a lot of it is very down, right? A lot of times when people get writing, their poetry is kind of sad sometimes. So I wanted to be more uplifting.
Yeah. All right. Well, great. So I have to ask you this, as I ask all of my authors: has the writing and publishing experience been satisfying for you? And that does not have to include financially. Has it been a satisfying process?
Yeah, yes, it has. Yes,
Can
it
you tell
has.
us how?
Um, well, I have quite a few people who have bought the book for their kids, and they'll email me, and sometimes they'll send me a little video of them reading it to their child, and the child is just focused on the pictures, and that just makes me very happy to see
That is the best.
that
Yep.
if I can help one person. And I made the book, the story and the book, so older people can also enjoy it. The
Mhm,
parents can enjoy it too.
mhm. You're talking to somebody who watches Bullwinkle, so I understand that completely. All right. Well, that's fantastic, Jason. The last question that I have to ask you, as far as your literary side, is when are you do you write the documentaries? Does being a writer help you when you're doing these documentaries?
Yes, yes. So my documentary is all made by me. I write it, I direct it, I film it, I do the editing, I do the sound design. I basically a one-man band. I do have friends that will help in filming, and I do have to kind of show them how to play, where to place the camera. And, I usually kind of teach a little bit about how to film. I'm not saying I'm perfect, because nobody's perfect, but I'm definitely not perfect. And my films are not perfect. And yeah, so I try, I do everything that I can. And then I try my best, and hopefully I can entertain people and people can enjoy my work.
Great. Well, that is really, the mark of an author, and what authors really write for. I seldom have somebody that comes out and says, "Well, yeah, I made a few $1,000s in Yahoo." No, it's always about the interaction and how they affect the audience. So that is fantastic, and you're able to translate that into, kind of, you and I really are trying to do a lot of the same things, because you're trying to transfer the written word into the visual. And,
Yeah,
I mean, you're talking about two completely different mediums. And like you say, you're a one-man show. So in a normal production, you got a writer and then somebody who just basically follows the directions, but you have to see everything through, because you're going to be doing this. So give
yeah,
me
exactly.
okay, from your last documentary, um can you let's start off with this. What's the time frame? When do you actually go out? How long are you out? And what time of the year is it?
Well, the last documentary, it was in the wintertime. So the last one I did, chapter 2, The Watchers, was a lot of it was in the winter. I did start filming it in the summer,
Mhm.
but then when winter hit, I decided, well, I would just go into the winter, and I thought, well, it'd be great if I built myself a tunnel, or like a snow resort, dug a hole and spent the night, you know, waiting to see if anything would come by. And let me tell you, things come by during the nighttime.
Mhm.
Sometimes you don't want them to be there, sometimes you do. But when you're by yourself out in the forest, you know, the smallest little chipmunk can sound like a huge grizzly bear with your imagination.
Mhm. Yeah, so you are in a hole for like the entire night?
Yeah, for, well, not the entire night. I do go out of the hole and look around
Mhm.
and see what I can find. You know, I do go out and see if I can. I go look around. Half the night is spent walking around, and other times I'm just sitting,
Okay.
listening, and I'll do calls, and
Okay.
sometimes I'll get screams back, or, you know.
Okay. So why do you pick the areas that you pick? Are you reasonably sure you're going to get some activity?
No, I'm never sure if I'm going to find any activity.
Mhm.
The reason I go into these areas that I go into is they have a long history of Sasquatch sightings and encounters. And the people that I interview, I ask them, where was this? And they tell me where it was. And then I decide to go out to that area and see if I can find any evidence.
Mhm.
And that's how I get to go to these places, is because of the people I interview. The way I have it set up is I'll interview someone, I'll do the talking head, and that talking head will lead me to either another talking head, another person, eyewitness, that will send me to the area that they had the sighting. And
Mhm.
that's how I find these locations.
Mhm. So as you progress, so how many films is this now? How many documentaries?
So this is my third documentary,
Okay.
the
And
third one.
as
Part
you're,
one.
isn't that something? I know, because
So
I'm sure when you
chapter,
did the first one, you said, well, this is probably, I mean, is this going to even do anything? And that first one you did was fantastic. So I
thank you.
haven't seen this one. I've seen the trailer and I haven't had a chance to see this one completely. But anyway, um, Jason's photography is just first rate. And the thing that you want to watch his videos for is not only for the education and for the natural part of it, but for his methods for searching. And he really uses a lot of scientific methods for his research. And so they're very educational videos. Now, that being said, are you being educated from video to video? Are you getting closer to maybe having contact?
Yes, I think I'm getting closer. Uh, Chapter three is, I actually went out with a bunch of Sasquatch researchers, including Adam Davies and Robert Kreider. And they taught me quite a lot what to look for, especially Robert Kreider. He is an amazing tracker. And he's the one that opened my eyes to the tree breaks, you know, seeing the twisted and the breaks. He was the one that really opened my eyes to it. We'd be walking and he would just show. And we'd be literally walking through the forest. And then we'd turn because he's like, okay, it's gone this way. Because he's showing these branches that are thicker than my finger. And they're basically twisted and broken. And to the fact that where he said, here, Jay, grab this and see if you can twist it and break it. Go ahead with one hand. And I couldn't do it as much as I could. And I don't know if you can tell, but these guns can lift
Yeah.
1,000 pounds. Yeah, you can see it. It's a
Can you
Canadian being in the
can you
wilderness.
carry
Well,
those
that
in
makes a
Canada?
trip that we, It's all that riding the caribou that's out here.
Yeah.
Make us strong. But yeah, breaking the twigs. And yeah, so being able to track these alleged creatures makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Jason, you didn't hear me. I was asking you, are you allowed to carry those guns in Canada? Do you need a permit
No,
or do you need the
the
Mounties?
guns that you, well,
I mean, those
well,
ones you were just doing that with, those guns.
oh, those guns.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So,
I have a permit for both of these.
yeah, I don't know. I think those Mounties are going to be knocking on your door going, well, who knows?
Exactly.
Well, okay. So when you're talking about those twisted branches or whatever, I've seen those. I saw those last summer. And that was in actually near the Canadian border. This guy showed us his Bigfoot activity on his property. And this guy's like almost 7 feet tall, the guy showing us. And these brakes are up near his head and they're twisted. They are twisted.
Mhm.
And I'm going,
Yeah,
how is that even physically possible?
yeah,
But anyway, yeah, but not just one. He showed us, I think there was a total of 3 in different areas. And you're well, is that from the wind? No. How would the wind twist that? And then the predominant wind is from the other direction. So yeah,
yeah.
it was just pretty weird.
Interesting.
And then the fact that it is so high up that, how would it anyway? Because I look at, well, how do you explain this naturally? And let's rule out Bigfoot. But how does something break that high up? And definitely it looked like it had been twisted because the bark was stretched. So, man.
Yeah,
All right. Well,
I've seen so many of them.
yeah, it was near the Canadian border. And you're over in you're in Chilliwack? Was that the last time we talked? I think we were talking
I'm
about
in
Chilliwack.
Vancouver.
You're in
I'm in
Vancouver?
Yeah,
Okay. So do you go out on the island at all?
I did some research out on the island.
Mhm. But your
Yeah,
stuff is on the mainland.
a lot of it is on the mainland.
Okay.
Chapter 3 is in Michigan. A lot of it is in Michigan in chapter 3.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me get into this because I have to, and I need to check on the time. Jason, I know that you are a little short on time, so we probably got about 10 or 15 minutes of your time left, and that's Canadian time. So we'll have to let him go because maybe it's time for tea. I don't know what they're up to up there, but we got to respect their time schedule. So do you think that there is an element of woo and when I say woo, you know what I'm talking about, right? Do you think that there's an element of, these things are not just flesh and blood, that there's something else involved?
Well, there is something out there. I've seen the eye shine. I've heard the howls. I've had something grunt at me in the forest late at night. I've seen something drop to the ground and do a spider crawl across the dirt road in front of me. I've seen that. So there is something out there, but I really want to see a daylight sighting.
Mhm.
I always joke, I want Sasquatch to walk up and slap me in the face,
Mhm.
before I believe in it 100%. But there is something out there, and it's really hard to explain, especially after researching Sasquatch for the couple of years that I've been doing it. Yeah, it's interesting. The people that I interview and the stories that they tell me.
Mhm.
I believe that they believe that they saw something.
But what I'm asking is, do you think that they're, because this could be just a rare, unidentified species of an ape? Or I'm asking, is it possibly something more than an ape with more powers, more intelligence, more ability to not be seen?
Well, if these creatures truly exist, they have to be highly intelligent to avoid the cameras, um, like both the tree cams and actual cameras,
Mhm.
right? Because it's 2021. There is no reason why we shouldn't have had a proper photo or video of this
Mhm.
creature straight up,
Mhm.
right? So for these creatures to be able to avoid us without getting actual, like something in the zoo, you know, they have to be pretty highly intelligent, you know.
Okay, but I could argue it's not intelligence. It's an ability they have. What would you say to that?
Well, who knows until we actually have one in our hands,
Mhm.
until we can find one to study. I mean, everything that we're saying is he say, right? Everything that anyone says about Sasquatch is pretty much guessing until we actually have one. I
Mhm.
mean, for all we know, we could say that Sasquatch runs around in the forest with a tutu
Mhm.
because we just don't know.
Mhm.
We don't know 100%.
Mhm.
We can, we think we might know. And some stuff does make sense. I mean, look at the new species of monkey that they just found
Mhm.
in 2021, at the
Mhm.
beginning of 2021, a new species of monkey. So let's say that there is an other species of something that is half ape and half human running
Mhm.
around out there.
All right, so let's kind of tie this off. I know you want to get to your song. When I'm watching your documentaries, am I go what am I going to learn? Tell me that. What am I going to learn? What am I going to discover?
Well, you're going to discover a lot of fun, for one thing. Uh, for people that don't know anything about Sasquatch, they will learn about the tree breaks. They'll learn about the tree structures, the big giant X's where the trees are laid in X. Um, One of the greatest things that that has come out of my productions of me filming for Sasquatch is the friends like yourself that I've met along the way. And to me, that is one of the greatest things about uh, researching Sasquatch. The people I meet are just incredible,
Mhm.
right? They're just down to earth, they're open minded, they're just really nice people. So, you
Depending
know,
on what
what,
Facebook page you go into. Just
well, yeah, I mean, not everyone's perfect, obviously, in anything that we do.
But yeah,
But
I
yeah,
agree with you about that. All right, Jason, tell us about the song. I listened to it. It's on YouTube. I'm going to put the link in the description. I'm not going to play it on the podcast. I'm going to let people just listen to it because I'm going to do your trailer. But tell us a story. You wrote that. Somebody else sang it.
yeah. So I went to Michigan. I went down there to do a Bigfoot conference. I got to speak, which was really exciting. After the conference ended, they they took me out, northern Michigan into the forest. And when I got out of the car, there was a guy that was standing there. I just got talking to him. His name is Todd Parsons. And when he told me he was a country singer out of Texas, I said to him, I'm doing this documentary about Sasquatch, and it would be great. Do you think you might be able to create a song for Searching for Sasquatch, Chapter 3? And he said, yeah, that would be great. I would love to do that. The only deal is you have to write it. And so I'm like, okay, it shouldn't be that hard. So then I went home after a week later, I went home and I started writing and I wrote the song and I sent it to Todd. And then Todd, he rewrote some of it to make it, because when you write a song, you want it to kind of flow. And so he put some stuff in, and it was great. And we were going back and forth, like, how does this look? How does this sound? I'm like, hey, sounds great. Wrote some stuff in. Hey, let's add this. And I wanted it to be upbeat and uplifting. I wanted it to be fast. And I wanted to create a song that you could be driving down the road, you turn it on, roll down the window. It's a nice summer's day, and you can put the sunroof back and you can just blast it and sing along to it. And that's exactly what we created. And, I'm hoping that this song will become legendary, like the creature itself. And it's just the lyrics are fun. I put a bit of humor in there. It was great. And that's how the song got created. And now I'm just hoping that people will like it and share it and just have fun listening to it.
Who knows? You could be the next Barry Manilow, or I don't know any other comparison, but yeah, I listened to the song. It's very funny. It is very upbeat, and it has that country music background to it that we all love. So yeah, I really liked it. Is that in the music? Is that in the movie?
Yep, it's going to be in the movie. Yeah.
Okay, so are you going to be singing? Are you going to be singing and dancing?
I don't sing.
No,
Todd Parsons does all the singing. I'm not a really good singer. I am the most amazing singer on the planet when no one else around.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't even play my armpit. That's how bad I am.
Ah, yeah. Well, that's like me. When I was in high school, I played the sax, the grocery sax. See, so that's
yeah. When I was in high school, I didn't play nothing.
Really? Nope. Is that right? Well, I'm not going to go I'm not going to go there, but yeah, I can feel for you. So probably going back to your thing about you started filming in the summer and then ended in the winter. So you started filming in July and it ended up into August, the winter up in Canada.
August and winter time.
Yeah. So yeah.
I'm
surprised you're not wearing a parka right now. So
no, I don't usually wear that inside.
No, okay.
Usually outside.
Yeah, but you have to use your ice pick to get out when the podcast
get outside the front door. Yeah.
Or oot. Yeah. I'm sorry, I should have said oot. Yeah, and that's the last thing. So when Todd was translating your song, was he having to get it out of that guttural Canadian into something more understandable American English?
Definitely, because up here we speak googly-goo. Yeah.
So, well, I appreciate your sense of humor because most Canadians don't have it, and most of them would have turned off the recording by now. But anyway, Jason Kenzie, it has been a real honor to have you back on the podcast. Are you still locked into Canada? Are you still, because of this COVID thing?
No.
You can cross the border.
No, we're not. Yeah, we can cross into the border. So I should come visit you.
Yeah, you should. Because we have a project we have to work on. I need to talk to you about. But yes, absolutely. So you will be seeing more of Jason, I guarantee it, on Encounters USA. So Jason, tell us the name of your documentary and where we can watch that. So it's not out yet though, right?
No, it won't be out till January 2022. The first weekend in January is when I'm launching part 1. There was so much stuff that happened in chapter 3 that I couldn't do it in one full movie. I had to cut it in 2 parts. So part 1 comes out in January 2022. And then the second half will come out a month later.
Wow.
And there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of eye shine in this movie. Yeah, you'll see a lot of eye shine. There's talking. Mm-hmm. There's some weird talking in the forest. It was like what him dad. That's what it sounded like. It was the oddest thing. Lots of whoops. There's screams. There is just a lot of fun and adventure.
Yeah.
The thing about Sasquatch, doing these documentaries, I wanted to do more adventure than talking heads.
Yeah.
Because there was a lot of documentaries out there, but a lot of them there's more talking heads than there is adventure. And I believe that people love seeing the adventure bit of it, going out into the mountains, going there at night,
Yep.
and then just having a bunch of people just talk,
Yeah.
like throughout it.
Yep. You're preaching to the choir on that one. You can't find Bigfoot with a group of people. You've got to pretty much go out with one or two, and that's it. So, all right.
I knew a guy that
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I knew a guy that did a Sasquatch documentary, and I went and watched it. And when I got there about 10 minutes late. So when I was watching it, the whole thing had to do with it, just all was talking heads.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went up to the guy that did the Sasquatch documentary and I said, "Hey, this is cool. So this is not the full one, right? Is there some more to it where you actually go into the forest?" And he looked at me and he said, "Go into the forest?"
Yeah.
No, are you kidding?
Yeah.
I wouldn't go into the forest. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You are going to go into the forest and at least do some investigation, like go at night. He's like, no, I'm a city guy. And I just do the talking heads. I said, well, how are you a Sasquatch investigator when you're not going into the field? Right. And I just thought that was funny. So he came out with a second Sasquatch documentary after that, where he went into the forest a bit. Not too much, but there was a little bit more forest, not just all talking heads.
Yeah.
It was a pretty good documentary.
Well, I like the way you think, Jason, because that's also what Encounters USA is about. We not only do the talking head, we're out doing the research as well and looking for people like Jason to see what they're up to. All right. So I'm going to give you your reprieve now. You can go have your cup of tea or whatever it is you're doing up there. But Jason, give me a name? I have not heard the name of this documentary. What are we looking for?
So it's called Searching for Sasquatch, Chapter 3. We seek, they hide. And the other documentaries, there's Chapter 1 and there's Chapter 2 with the same name, Searching for Sasquatch.
Okay.
And if you were to just Google Jason Kenzie's Searching for Sasquatch, you'll be able to find it. It's on plex.com. I'm waiting for it to go onto Tubi TV.
Okay.
It's on like 7 or 8 different streaming platforms.
Okay.
But yeah, they can find that. They can find the song on Amazon, on iTunes. They can find it on Spotify under the name Searching for Sasquatch, the song. You can also punch in Todd Parsons and you'll find it there.
Okay.
And
I'll have links in my description.
Oh, yes. That's perfect.
Now, I was just thinking as you were talking of a sequel you could do, you could go down to California and do a surfing for Sasquatch kind of deal where you're out, I'm not sure if that would be profitable, but anyway, just an idea, spitballing here. All right, Jason. Well, I'm gonna give you your reprieve now. That's probably enough, and it's really been a good talking to you. And for everybody out there, get a hold of Jason's books. I'll put the links to the song in the description, and we will be looking for. I'll put his links to his other documentaries in the description, and of course, January the first week. Your documentary comes out?
The first weekend, yeah.
The first one. And then the second one comes out in February. Maybe it'll come out for my birthday. I'll have to tell you what my birthday is, and maybe we can have a big special thing. Or maybe not. So
maybe I'll come out on my birthday.
Oh, is that in February?
It's February 29th.
Oh my gosh. We are so close. That's amazing. All right, we'll talk. I'm not going to reveal my birthday because I'm an American. They'll take, they'll steal my identity. Yeah. All right. Well, that's interesting stuff. So, all right, Jason. Well, I guess that explains a lot of the similarities. All right. So we've had Jason Kenzie on Encounters USA to talk about his documentary, to talk about his children's books, and about his new song. And they are all fantastic. So we've been really lucky to have Jason on here. Jason, thanks for doing the show. Hey, everybody. Thanks for watching. and listening on our podcast networks. This has been Jason Kenzie talking about his books, his documentaries, and his great new song. Remember what we always say, Jason, and everybody out there in Books in Hindsight land, keep on reading.
This has been Books in Hindsight with your host, Matthew Hines. Please join us for our next podcast and look for our archives on iTunes and go to thehindsight.com. That's HEINES site.com for great books by Matthew Hines and other great authors.